Every man fighting captured on this video has bloody hands. From fist swinging to steel chair shots to the skull, each man will stop at nothing to gain the upper hand. Skin is torn from thumbtacks, baseball bats, solid wood tables to barbed wire, as the most brutal men use everything in their power to scorn their opponents, leaving them all with bloody hands. Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars, Bloody Hands, now playing.
Welcome everyone to Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars, Bloody Hands. I'm your host, Joe Dombrowski. Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars certainly is an international affair with the most unpredictable and ruthless talent from all across the world. Check out the deathmatch drunk Danny Havoc kicking us off against a truly unpredictable luchador known as Arrow Boy in this international deathmatch. Speaking to Arrow Boy earlier today through a translator, I know that he's very excited about this opportunity, but very nervous as well. He's been through his share of out-of-control situations, been through his share of no-rules combat, but certainly nothing compares you for what it's like here in Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars as you see the fanfare from our fans here in attendance, the streamers they've thrown in the ring, a sign of respect and adulation. They're aware of this man's reputation. He is Arrow Boy. This man needs no introduction. The deathmatch drunkard, Danny Havoc, an individual, certainly, who will go down in Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars history for the amount of blood and body parts he's lost, installment after installment. And you see similar respect for Havoc as well. Not used to seeing the streamers here in Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars. Arrow Boy bringing a little different dynamic here, but certainly the fans show their appreciation for Havoc as well. Havoc has earned it right in front of their eyes. And I'll be interested to see a bit of a clash in styles in this matchup. For those that don't know Arrow Boy, his roots in Mexico, they are best known for the lucha libre style of wrestling, which is much more of a quicker pace, much more of a science to it, and much more high-flying as well. And certainly there are elements of that in what we've seen. Can he incorporate the lucha libre influence with the violent tendencies of Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars, including this installment known as Body Count? Both men tie up. It's Havoc trying to send Arrow Boy into the ropes. Notice the ropes on that side are wrapped with barbed wire, and that side wrapped with some sort of bamboo kendo stick-like substance. A lot of dangerous implements of destruction throughout this ring. Takedown by Havoc. Pace quickens its advantage, Arrow Boy. Havoc sent to the outside. Nearly into the wire. Now he goes through. Arrow Boy opens up with a drop kick. Havoc right through that wood board covered with barbed wire. That was one of the clean sides. You have barbed wire to the right, bamboo to the left, and certainly that board on the outside not feeling any better. And Arrow Boy through with a tope, hooks Havoc and drills him with a DDT. And the floor of this building, I guess it's best described as a deck hockey rink. There's no padding or protection at all. Havoc hits skull first, and Arrow Boy following through with more damage. And knee first, Havoc into those stairs impedes his progress very aggressively, but now Havoc sends the head of Arrow Boy in. Havoc walking very gingerly, walking with a limp, as he aggressively hurls that chair right into the masked skull of Arrow Boy. The mask, a legendary staple of wrestling south of the border. As Arrow Boy begins to open up, we'll talk about that mask more as this matchup goes on. Oh, but Danny Havoc won't remember it anyway. The impact of these shots echoing throughout this building. Just imagine how it feels inside Havoc's skull. And Havoc finds a shopping cart right into the abdomen. And a steel trash can lid for good measure. Havoc looking to turn this thing around. Still not walking all that well after the damage done to the knee several moments ago. And Arrow Boy takes advantage. Havoc couldn't get the momentum he needed on that whip. Arrow Boy reverses, and Havoc's own idea comes back to bite him. Just sending that shopping cart straight into the head, the upper body of Havoc. Back into the ring. As we mentioned, that mask of Arrow Boy, symbolic. It's almost like another identity. It's almost like a superhero in Mexican culture. To lose that mask is the ultimate sign of shame and disrespect. Havoc for the cover after the drop kick gets to it. Havoc is just looking to recoup right now. We've seen Havoc as a member of the Nation of Intoxication, a 9-year pro, 6'1", 190 pounds. And there you see Arrow Boy hits the barbed wire. And into the bamboo as well. Havoc in his element. Havoc, a native of Iowa, which doesn't strike many as the most hardcore of states, but hey, he's made it work. Been all over the world in his own right. Germany, Japan. Boy sent in. Scoops him up, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on the wood sticks, and only it's 2. You can hear Arrow Boy writhing in pain. Arrow Boy, only in his mid-20s. He could trace his career back to his teens. You start him young south of the border. Arrow Boy gets the foot up. And drives down with the knees, right around the jaw area. Hook of the leg finds 2. And shouldn't be too surprising. Arrow Boy has adjusted well. I believe one of his claims to fame south of the border was being part of Los Ultraviolentos. And that speaks for itself. Havoc is dazed, but Havoc recovers. That bamboo stick drilled across the upper body, maybe caught him in the head. And Havoc looking for a receipt from the barbed wire board at the outset of this match. Arrow Boy just all he can to keep his balance on the ropes, let alone fight off Havoc, now trying to get some shots in. You can see the blood on Havoc's back from his first landing. Could he meet a similar fate? Oh no. Dude! Arrow Boy drilled into the barbed wire. You can see how sharp those barbs are sticking out. And Arrow Boy with cuts all along his arms already. You can just imagine the pin cushion. His back has to resemble. There's a good indication. Look at the barbs. Look at how sharp they are. Look at how long they are. Imagine that digging, ripping, tearing at your flesh every time you try to move. They get stuck in deeper and further. Arrow Boy is sliced to pieces. We do have handlers here who will clip this barbed wire if possible, just for the safety of these stars so they can continue this match. Oh, but that is brutal. And you can hear the gasp from the crowd as they see those deep lacerations, the blood trickling all over the place. This has got to be it. Havoc, no! Arrow Boy survives, but how? And how much longer? What a way to make a first impression here in wrestling's Bloodiest Wars. You can feel that impact. Havoc with the boot. Oh, Arrow Boy gets a running start. And outsmarts Havoc, comes back with a clothesline hook and the leg chops the shoulders. Only got 2, 1 second away from what you have to refer to as an upset in this environment. Now behind Arrow Boy, he's earned a lot of respect in this match. Jeez. Metal sign between the eyes. Havoc is stunned. Second one. I think Havoc was out before his head hit the mat. But perhaps on instinct, perhaps on guts, perhaps on tenacity, Danny Havoc kicks out. The crowd really split here between Arrow Boy as well as Danny Havoc. No clear-cut home field advantage, so to speak, even with Arrow Boy being from outside the country. Watch Havoc now. Tornado DDT attempt. Arrow Boy puts on the brakes. Great sense of balance. Suplexes Havoc upside down. Not only is Havoc, but wait a second, Arrow Boy into the cover. Finds 2. Not only does Havoc crack his back off of those bamboo sticks, but his body whiplashes off those tightly enforced ring ropes. Awkward landing. Watch Arrow Boy. Swanton bomb. Spreads out his body weight for maximum impact, but again, only a near fall. Puts the brakes on. I think Havoc was going for the Queen to Queen's level 3, but Arrow Boy countered. Close arm breaker. You can hyperextend an elbow. You can rip a shoulder. You can break an arm. Havoc knows that. He's reaching for salvation. He's reaching for whatever he can find. Finally, the hold broken. Havoc was in dire straits. That very easily could have been a tap out, especially this late in a contest like this. What, floor sign? Well, what with blood perhaps? Suplex. Oh, imagine the back bending across that sign if he can get the suplex off. Oh no. No! Danny Havoc gets 2 and no. Oh, Arrow Boy dropped abdomen first and then the dragon suplex to follow things up. And as if, in case you thought there wasn't the next level they could still climb to. Now a table, absolutely consumed in barbed wire. I'm not sure if Arrow Boy has even realized the fate that, in the hopes of Danny Havoc, will soon await him. Barbed wire bat, I didn't even see that in the ring amongst all the clutter and plunder. Havoc. Oh. Has that table at an angle and Arrow Boy forced to look right into his future and nowhere to move, no way to stop it. What a psychic. It's that dragon suplex we just saw. If Havoc can get the fingers locked, if he can elevate Arrow Boy, this will be the last we see of Arrow Boy. Havoc went downstairs. Death Valley Driver! Variation of that General Order 24 and Havoc wins. Danny Havoc retains a hell of a reputation as one of the men to beat in wrestling's bloodiest wars. Arrow Boy, he traveled long and far for this opportunity. As you see, the sacrifice he made in order to prove himself, in order to give his all. And you can see his lower body still entangled in that lethal barbed wire. All the respect in the world goes out to you, Arrow Boy, my friend. You certainly proved a lot to all of us watching wrestling's bloodiest wars. We hope to see a lot more of you in the months to come. And we certainly hope you get that barbed wire taken care of in a very precarious predicament that shows you the danger. Wrestling, sometimes it's a game of inches. You never know what could be at jeopardy. But Danny Havoc is the victor. Danny Havoc is the man in this installment. And by God, he earned it. But you want to talk about earning it? Arrow Boy earning a lot of respect. From the United States into Mexico, even as far away as Japan and beyond, wrestling's bloodiest wars has shown you the absolute best come here to prove themselves no different here on Bloody Hand. Blood will certainly be on the hands of these two athletes as wrestling's bloodiest wars continues with the Bulldozer, Matt Tremont, against the breathtaking Nation of Intoxication member, Lucky 13. It's ultra-violent rule, where fights, battles, matches, wars break out anywhere you can imagine, from the ring to the parking lot. And we're seeing a war break out here before the opening bell can even sound. The individual you see dishing out the punishment right now is Bulldozer Matt Tremont. His opposition of the Nation of Intoxication, he is Lucky 13. These are two warriors that we have seen many times in the past here at Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars, and wasting no time going one-on-one in this installment in an ultra-violent rules match. And quite obviously, quite simply, ultra-violent rules, in essence, means there are no rules. Weapons not only legal, but encouraged. Matt Tremont of the Bulldozer immediately goes to work with the solid steel. Tremont addressing his people. You can see the dent in that chair as 13 turns things around. One-man Wolfpack, the 10-year pro. From ultra-violent wrestling to MMA and everywhere in between. And now, 13 has removed his studded belt from his pants. And now leveling Tremont right to the forehead. A lot of scar tissue to target on that forehead. That could potentially lead to a laceration. 13 knows what he's doing. Now a steel chair off the apron. Potential momentum boost here. And with a little help from gravity, the steel chair driven down into the skull. 13 pretty fucked up. See 13 survive the cage of death. We've seen him. Oh, there you see that laceration that we touched on earlier. Tremont has been busted open. That belt softened up. Tremont's scar tissue, that chair just drove it home. And 13, speaking of driven, right into the solid steel ring steps, and a sadistic smile on the face of Tremont. This certainly is Matt Tremont in his element, as it is.
I told you, you were the last piece of the nation's puzzle.
And there you hear Tremont exclaiming his intention to eradicate the nation of intoxication. But these athletes are at home in this environment, and it may not make sense to the layman. It may not be politically correct for mainstream America, but this is the world they know and what they thrive in. And Tremont drops a bucket full of thumbtacks, and you can see how long those sharp points on those tacks are. And Tremont inviting, perhaps daring, 13 to have a seat, and I guarantee it's not going to be for a formal discussion. And 13 knows what's coming, and so do we. 13 bleeding as well. You can hear the impact. This is a gut check. Who's gonna blink? Who's gonna budge? And 13, not the way to win a fist fight, but anything goes in wrestling's bloodiest wars, and Tremont responds in kind. Both men shoving these thumbtacks into each other's mouths down their throat, and the punch to the face. You gotta believe, just digging them further into the skin. And 13 gets a modified stunner out of this. Tremont tried to jump his way out. There's a cover. Tremont looked to avoid the bulk of that impact. Keep in mind the stunner, it acts like a jawbreaker. It compresses the jawbone. And keep in mind, when you have thumbtacks in your mouth, there's nowhere for those tacks to go. Tremont avoided some of it, but couldn't avoid any of that. His face, his chest, his upper body planted into the tacks. This could do it. 13, a cover. Even the official, even with those thick, work-like gloves, even the official hurting his hand, still on those thumbtacks. Nevertheless, it was a near fall for 13, who now ascends to the top turnbuckle to take a huge risk, but Tremont there to meet him. Tremont elevates 13, and both men crash into the tacks. Both men feel the effects. Who got the worst of it? You gotta believe it was 13 who got the worst of it. He fell farther. Tremont, not looking like a prize himself, but was able to get a near fall. As this battle progresses, blood loss may become an issue, not just with equilibrium, not just with energy and strength, but certainly vision as well. The blood gets into your eyes. It becomes a much more difficult scenario when you can't see your opponent. And vision or not, no way to prepare for the Samoan drop. Once again, into the tax. Tremont on top. You can see the tax sticking out of the back of 13 as Tremont inches closer and closer to the elusive 3 count. And again, that devilish grin as Tremont drags, literally grinds 13's skin along the thumbtacks. Ask anybody that's been in a wrestling ring, it's bad enough to risk something like mat burn, but put a few thousand steel thumbtacks on top of it only makes the problem that much worse. And Tremont with a frog splash onto the chair, onto 13, but still not enough. 13 trying to bridge up out of that cover with everything in his power, not just because he wants to keep fighting, but also, again, keep in mind that impact will just drive the tax further and further into the body. Tremont says that's it. Bulldozer with a sit-out powerbomb.
2, 3,
and Tremont finishes this. What an encounter we have seen. The Devil May Care attitude of Lucky 13, the pure power and intensity of Matt Tremont. Another memorable battle here on Bloody Hands as part of wrestling's Bloodiest War. Feature time on wrestling's Bloodiest Wars, Bloody Hands. And we're going to take a look at 2 very in-your-face personalities. 2 young men who love to be the toughest guy on the block. And this is going to be a major gut check that we're going to look at. Approaching the ring right now is Biff Busick, 6'1", 195 pounds, out of Boston, Massachusetts. Self-described as the manliest man in professional wrestling today. Been around since 2008, and when you talk about gut check, certainly you see the visual, no ropes on this ring. It is completely replaced with razor-sharp barbed wire. Biff Busick is a tough striker. He's aggressive. I don't know that he's ever been in an environment quite like this. The opponent is Sozio. The mafioso type has always been seen flanked by an entourage. And certainly it's led to some success. It's led to championship gold in his career. This young veteran, about a 13-year pro, 6 feet tall, 203 pounds. His origins, in his words, don't worry about it. This man has been described sometimes as an anomaly, and we may see why in the course of this matchup. Sozio loves to travel in packs. He loves to have the family by his side. But how effective, how influential will this family be with rows of barbed wire separating them from their leader? There you see the confrontation.
And now, ladies out of Boston, Massachusetts, and weighing in at 200 pounds, he is the former CZW World Champion, and his opponent, being accompanied to the ring by front members Nicholas K. and Eric Corvus. Who cares? Fighting out of the Achilles heel of Italy and weighing in at 218 pounds, he is the current reigning and defending CZW World Champion.
Almost finished with the preliminaries as Sozio takes a look at his championship for what could be the last time. Hell, this is a potentially career-ending environment as you see a great shot there of Busick obstructed by the barbed wire that has replaced the ring ropes all around this ring. Sozio with Corvus and Kay as associates on the outside. But Sozio will have to do it on his own, one would believe. Busick may be the better of the two when it comes to combat fighting. Sozio may be the best when it comes to resourcefulness. I underscore may. Busick strikes first. Sozio reciprocates. It's almost a gut check from Jump Street as both men feel one another out. Neither man budging, and you knew it was gonna be like this. Busick gonna said no. Sozio puts the brakes on. Whoever is able to send their opponent into the barbed wire first has a distinct advantage. Usually that can be a path to victory. And as Sozio blocking it, his hands are a little bit heavier on tape than usual, but even still, that can only do so much protection. You can see Biff has his forearm and his wrist protected as well. Last thing you want to do is hit an artery or a huge gash with your fist and have no way to protect yourself. But Sozio defensively couldn't stop his momentum. He does the next best thing. He slides to the outside. And Sozio pretty proud of himself thus far. Been able to be abusive yet elusive, and he's in the head of Biff Busick. He's frustrated Busick a little bit. Busick is very smash mouth. He's very forward and Busick! Up and over with a tope canelo. The associates go down, and Biff Busick, well, Sozio did what he wanted to do. He frustrated Busick, but that may have backfired. Busick, a man possessed. Wait a second. Oh, no. Busick reversed into that pillar that holds up this arena. And Corvus and Kay now assaulting Biff Busick. And just as I had mentioned a moment ago, that Sozio would have to do this largely alone, he proves me wrong. Sozio and gang strike first blood. That may have been off of that thick, heavy pillar, or it may have been the damage afterwards. Either way, Sozio decisively in control. And Busick losing a lot of blood for what is the opening moments of what could be a very long and arduous path. Ooh. Busick backed into the guardrail, and we need to get both these athletes back in this ring. This is meant to be, obviously, barbed wire matchup within the confines of the ring to keep these men in and keep everybody else out. As Sozio digs at that cut. And Sozio showing the aggressive side we knew he had. What we talked about it at the outset. Busick may be a better competitor. Sozio may be more resourceful. He's proven me right in that regard. Sozio has outsmarted Biff Busick in the early going. And we've now spent more than half of this match on the outside of the ring, which only favors Sozio. Sozio has to be careful to not come into contact with a barbed wire. But now, oh! Sozio takes a chance, Busick! Broke free from the grasp of these goons. And Busick neutralizes Sozio long enough to take out the hired heavies. And if you didn't hear that, Busick just said, I'm gonna kill him. No objections from our live crowd. And that's why we love our wrestling's Bloodiest Wars fans. Okay, whoa. Sozio has, what is that? A switchblade. Well, we knew the barbed wire was dangerous. Hey, come on. I know anything goes here. I'm not sure if Sozio wants this blood in his hands. Think about this. Sozio aiming for the eye. And Busick puts Sozio forearm first into the barbed wire. Sozio drops the knife. Busick discards it. Busick says he doesn't need the knife. And Sozio finds a steel chain. Again, the resourcefulness of Sozio, the veteran, coming through. And Busick continues to lose more blood. And Sozio, choice words for Busick. And Busick is tough. And Busick may have a great career ahead of him. If you have a keen eye, you may have seen Busick pop up in any number of other locations in the pro wrestling world. But man, he may not make it to achieve his potential. He may not make it past this match as Sozio with a chain trying to dig into the eyes. Busick gets a hand up to at least prevent some of it, but still that steel digging into the flesh, now digging right into the cut. And that chain just expanding that wound even further. And I can't imagine seeing Busick quit or want to quit, even in this environment. Busick with a jawbreaker. The momentum, the positioning comes back to haunt Sozio as Busick to his feet, but Sozio the super kick and Busick back into the steel. Or back into the barbed wire, excuse me. Busick's skin pierced. You can see how deep it's dug into his back. And just pushing Busick even deeper in. You saw Busick's trunks get caught. Lateral press for 2. Imagine the cold steel of the barbed wire piercing your flesh, drawing further blood, weakening you, and you're helpless to do anything about it because Sozio's right there blocking your path out of it. And now the head. Sozio driving the head in. And again, Sozio's either going to deepen the existing cut, or hell, if he can't do that, he'll make a new one. Either way, Busick has been neutralized much of this matchup. He's been weakened for the blood loss, but still wanted to fight. But you can see Busick couldn't get his legs under him, couldn't get his footing to get the maximum effect from those strikes, and Sozio takes over once more. And Sozio went to charge and paid for it. Busick the drop toe. Sozio, gravity was his enemy there. He fell right onto that middle strand of barbed wire. You can see it's loose because of the impact of Sozio and having to dig himself out of it. Now into the head. Biff Busick responding in kind for the damage done by Sozio, and Sozio is busted wide open. Biff with a cover. Biff looking for championship gold, looking for pride, and looking to dig down deep and find something. Biff Busick forearms. Put them on the same level as anybody in this industry today, but Sozio, no. This could spell the end. Whoever wins this struggle could be a turning point. Oh, Busick! Busick slams Sozio into the barbed wire. The lower back and the legs caught up in the wire. And Sozio feeling it the worst around his thighs, around his rear end. That's going to make walking painful. It's going to certainly hurt the mobility of Sozio as we go on. Not sure if that was Busick's state of mind or if it was more of a desperation counter to that suplex, but either way, major game changer here if Busick can recover. Sozio to his feet, but needs a chair to lean on because of the damage done to the legs. Now Busick doing what Sozio did earlier, sneaking to the outside, but it's not because of a underhanded plan. It's because of he's in search. Oh my God. Baseball bat wrapped, immersed in barbed wire. Busick takes things to the next level. Sozio has a chair, but will it be enough to protect himself? old-fashioned standoff. Sozio daring Busick. He was ready. Chair to the midsection. On to the head. Sozio measured Busick between the eyes. Busick tried to block it, but how in the hell are you going to block a swing that emphatic? Sozio baited Busick in so Sozio could use the back. Crowd chanting "F you Niles." That was Sozio's name in another lifetime. He's completely reinvented himself. And as now he drives that barbed wire back into the forehead, now into the back. Keep in mind the damage done to the back by Sozio in the early going, pushing Busick into the barbed wire ropes. Busick injured Busick on the defensive as Sozio measures him. Now into the side of the head. And there's just nowhere for Busick to go in that situation. As you can see, the blood darkens, the cut deepens. And Sozio, his mind continues to turn. Sozio discards the barbed wire back, perhaps to prevent Busick from finding it later. As Sozio carries the body language of a man who feels that he's about to put this match away. Busick is certainly the worse for wear. Insult and injury. Wait a second. Well, Sozio's associates put the bat back within reach once they saw Sozio had a plan. Home run swing, but a miss. Busick sidesteps and hits Sozio. Again, the back of the leg immersed in the barbed wire. And Sozio's done further damage that Busick created. You can see the eyes are the window to the soul. Fifth Busick has a chance. God, he just bent the guy's back in half. Busick, no. That blockbuster is a specialty of Busick, and he just bent the lower spine of Sozio across that wide open chair. That was ugly. And now Busick wrapping his own arm, his own fist in the barbed wire. Busick signals for the end of Sozio and just unloads relentlessly. Oh, when Busick is in this frame of mind, he is completely unstoppable. A switch has been flipped and Busick is not the same man that started this match. Uppercut to Sozio, who's so weak-legged he can barely stand at this point. And that's the blood loss, and that's especially the damage done to the legs from this barbed wire. But Sozio defiantly laughing in the face of Busick and daring him for more. Those forearms are lethal on their own. Wait, backslide by Sozio, drives with the legs for two. Ducking the Mafia kick, connecting with a clothesline is Sozio. Deep hook of the leg, Sozio wins it, no! And that was a near fall. And Sozio showing frustration. Sozio needed to come back from those Biff Busick forearms, which are deadly on their own, let alone the intensity that Busick currently shows in his face and eyes, let alone the barbed wire wrapped around his forearm. And now, speaking of wrapping, Sozio wrapping the barbed wire around his foot. We saw him go for a Mafia kick a moment ago. Could that be his plan once again? Sozio making sure that barbed wire's attached there firm. Oh, Busick! The half and half suplex, that's his specialty. That'll end this thing. Sozio knows it, and he counters, pushing Busick back into the barbed wire. The Mafia kick connected. Right to the face. That'll do it. And now, Sozio is victorious. Sozio retains his championship. Sozio survives. It was anything but easy. And you can see a relieved facial expression. The hell that he had to endure is finally over. And I'll tell you what, Sozio barely came out of this one. He barely came out as a champion. But a champion he did. Busick, the intensity, the striking game, on point. The forearm, certainly the barbed wire as well did their damage. But when Busick took things to that level, Sozio responded in kind, wrapping the foot in the barbed wire and connecting with the Mafia kick. It put Busick down. You can see how much effort it's taking just to even unhook Sozio from the deadly grip of the barbed wire. Busick, you gotta believe he is just in agony as well as heartbroken that he came up just short here in this instance. But there is your victor. Sozio's the man. Here in wrestling's bloodiest wars, blood in his hands, blood in his shirt, blood in his face. Is blood throughout this building. But the sacrifice on this night paid off. We thank you so much for watching Wrestling's Bloodiest Wars, Bloody Hands. I'm Joe Dombrowski. We'll see you next time.
It makes me try to build your pride. Never did I think that this would ever become so disturbing, thinking this could ever be done. Well, it's changing, leaving room for next to none. All our fears subside, I know we will cover. You can't beat down our pride. You won't see fearless, you won't see fearless, you won't see fearless. You won't fucking see fearless. Stand up for yourself. It all makes your mind. Stand up for yourself. I see the fear in you. Your mind is all you lose. Stand up for yourself. Balance it out. It makes you rise. You lost your pride and your mind. Never did I think that this would ever become so disturbing, thinking this could ever be done. Well, it's changing, leaving room for next to none. All our fears subside, I know we will cover. You can't beat down our pride. You won't see fearless, you won't see fearless, you won't see fearless. You won't fucking see fear in us. Did I think that this would never become so disturbing, thinking this could ever be done? Well, it's changing, leaving room for next to none. All our fears subside, I know we will cover. You can't beat down our pride. You won't see fearless, you won't see fearless, you won't see fearless. You won't fucking see fear in us.